Vosian, thank you, co-chairs, and ladies and gentlemen. Let me first of all express, on behalf of the Asia Indigenous peoples, our deepest appreciation and congratulations to the Sami Parliament and also to the Sami people for hosting this global preparatory conference in this beautiful and historical land of the Sami. May our struggle and solidarity grow with this meeting. My name is Jenny Lasimbang. I'm a Kadazan from Sabah, Malaysia. I'm making this statement on behalf of the Asia Caucus who are present here today. The Asia preparatory meeting on the World Conference on Indigenous Peoples was held in Bangkok, Thailand from 8 to 9 of November in 2012. The preparatory meeting was organized and hosted by the Asia Indigenous Peoples PAC. The preparatory meeting was attended by 52 indigenous participants representing indigenous peoples organizations from Bangladesh, Cambodia, India, Indonesia, Japan, Laos, Malaysia, Nepal, Philippines, Taiwan, Thailand, and Vietnam. Members of the UN Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues, as well as the Expert Mechanism on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, and the co-chair of the World Conference, Mr. John Henriksen, and representatives of the UN and other international NGOs who were also present. The meeting received updates from Mr. John Henriksen and also the representatives from the UN mechanisms and the GCG on the preparations to the World Conference. A key result to the Asia Prep meeting was a 12-page call to action from indigenous peoples in Asia to the World Conference, from which I will highlight here. The document picked key themes which indigenous peoples of Asia want to be considered at the World Conference. However, in coming up with a global outcome document, we are conscious that not all our concerns and recommendations may be included. It is our hope that indigenous peoples from across the globe will be flexible to this so that we can come up with a strong document that will advance our rights as peoples. In the preamble of the call to action, the meeting welcomed the United Nations General Assembly resolution to organize a high-level plenary meeting and reiterated that the World Conference offers opportunity to build on the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples and existing internationally agreed development goals to further propel the realization of indigenous peoples' human rights in the coming decades and the inclusion of indigenous visions in the post-2015 development agenda of the United Nations, including the elaboration of sustainable development goals. The call to action document also highlights the implementation of international commitments, including the outcome document, The Future We Want, of the UN Conference on Sustainable Development, or Rio +20, the Rio Conventions and Agreements, and the REDD+ programs under the UNFCCC, and at the same time expresses concern that indigenous peoples continue to be among the most impoverished sections of society, and that the specific needs and circumstances of indigenous peoples have not been adequately addressed and targeted by the MDGs and in poverty reduction strategies and plans. The call to action statement also gives the context and recommendations with respect to indigenous peoples in Asia, the home of 2/3 of the world's indigenous population, with different peoples representing distinct identities, diverse cultures and political and legal systems, including customary law regimes of indigenous peoples. Indigenous peoples in Asia share a common history of colonization, marginalization, exclusion, discrimination, forced assimilation and exploitation of the lands, territories, and resources. It expresses concern that several Asian states are still reluctant to recognize and respect the identity, dignity, rights, and political and juridical systems of indigenous peoples living within our countries, and the weak levels of implementation of the safeguards and recommendations of various intergovernmental human rights treaties and UN mechanisms. It also highlights the non-inclusion of the rights of indigenous peoples by the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, including the ASEAN Human Rights Declaration, which was adopted in November 2012. With respect to the theme on self-determination and self-governance in Asia, there have been positive developments in the realization of these rights, including through indigenous peoples' movements and struggles in some states, with some states recognizing collective rights and customary governance systems within international, regional, and national legal frameworks. The recommendations, among the recommendations to states in the document was, one, to conduct constitutional and other legal reforms to incorporate the right of self-determination of indigenous peoples, to meaningfully comply with treaties, agreements, and other constructive arrangements between indigenous peoples and Asian states, to respect the right to self-determination, including autonomy and self-governance of indigenous peoples, to build up and strengthen the capacity of indigenous women and youth, their organizations and movements, and for states, UN bodies, and NGOs to facilitate systematic dialogues of indigenous peoples with ASEAN and the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, or SARC. It also calls on national governments to allow constructive discussions on how the right of self-determination can be implemented in accordance with the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples and other international human rights standards, and also to ensure the full and effective participation of indigenous peoples in all policy decision-making in matters that affect them. On the theme militarization and conflict, indigenous peoples of Asia continue to face discrimination, land alienation, forced population transfer, displacement, human rights abuses, genocide, cultural assimilation, and denial of access to justice. Globalization and liberalization policies, accompanied by militarization and aggressive development policies, have violated basic human rights, including an increasing labeling of indigenous activists and their movements as terrorists. Militarization is a serious issue facing indigenous peoples in Asia, where military power is not only used to violently suppress indigenous movements for self-determination and autonomy, but also to break down the territorial integrity of indigenous peoples and to promote and protect the interests of state-sponsored or other private companies or multinational corporations. Among the key recommendations to states to ensure that territories of indigenous peoples in Asia are free of state military interventions, and that military bases or military training centers installed in indigenous territories be not established without their free prior informed consent, and to evolve effective mechanisms to trace the genuine root causes of unrest and address the problems to appropriate political solution, to ensure access to justice for indigenous peoples through formal justice institutions, national human rights institutions, and other forms of redress, including by taking into account indigenous peoples' customary laws, institutions, and processes. And finally, for UN bodies, competent and independent experts, including special rapporteurs, to conduct impartial investigations on the human rights situation of indigenous peoples in Asia in relation to policies of governments. On land, territories, and resources and local economies, the call to action statement recognizes good practices by states, private sector, and NGOs in promoting livelihood projects, access to markets, and co-management in the protected areas that strengthens the security of indigenous peoples' ownership or their access to their traditional lands, territories, and resources, and socio-cultural relations and traditional occupations. However, aggressive land and infrastructure development, extractive industries, climate change mitigation activities, establishment and management of protected areas, and other forms of encroachment upon indigenous peoples' lands, territories, and resources have led to persistent violations and breaches of human rights and fundamental freedoms by the states. Among the key recommendations to states are to, 1, institute mechanisms and procedures to ensure free prior-informed consent and to reform laws, policies, and practices to comply fully and effectively with international human rights standards, to respect the particularities, rights, and knowledge of indigenous women in relation to land rights and access to and control over resources, and to prohibit all forms of racial and gender-based discrimination, including those based upon the caste system, to establish effective complaints mechanisms and redress mechanisms, and to fully demarcate, duly demarcate indigenous peoples' lands and territories in accordance with customary law and processes. The fourth theme is on culture and spirituality, and this highlighted how indigenous peoples in Asia are currently facing great loss of their cultures and identities as a result of exploitation and commodification of cultures, materialistic influences on the youth, severance from their lands, territories, and resources, and entrenched structures and policies that have undermined the indigenous traditional cultures and customary law practices. Among key recommendations to states are to discontinue discriminatory treatment towards indigenous peoples, to strengthen and revitalize indigenous cultures, languages, and identities, to take effective measures to ensure that state-owned media duly reflect indigenous cultural diversity in partnership with indigenous peoples, and to ensure the participation of indigenous youth and women in decision-making processes affecting them, including through provisions of adequate resources and space for such participation. Ladies and gentlemen, co-chairs, in addition to the recommendations on the thematic issues, some general recommendations were also made, and these include appointment of an Undersecretary General for Indigenous Peoples, establishment of mechanisms to strengthen indigenous peoples' participation in governance and advisory bodies of the UN, establishment of a stronger monitoring and reporting mechanism on the implementation of the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples at global, regional, and national levels, and for the ASEAN Intergovernmental Commission on Human Rights, or the ICHAR, to establish a working group on indigenous peoples, and also for the SAARC, the South Asian grouping, to establish a human rights commission and a working group on indigenous peoples. Additionally, the preparatory meeting also came up with its own action plan for the World Conference, which has since been updated to include activities at the national level in an effort to lobby Asian governments and to call indigenous peoples to action. So this is just a gist of the document, and it is also, I think, posted and available for the full statements included. So thank you very much. Katahuadan.